Hi, I'm Joni Kopis, and on behalf of the Hamilton City School District, I have the privilege of introducing Hamilton High's new principal, Mr. John Wilhelm. So welcome, John.
Thanks, Joni. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming. I know you have a busy day, so I'm glad we were able to get you here. And I just said it's fitting that we'd had this beautiful new backdrop with Hamilton High School, and you're our Hamilton High School principal, so this is perfect. Nice way to unveil the backdrop. First, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Well, I grew up in Oxford, and so I was born and raised in Butler County. I actually was born at Fort Hamilton.
Very good.
Back in the day. Graduated from Talawanda High School in 1990. Went on to college at the University of Dayton for my undergraduate degree. And
so Miami let you out of Oxford. How about that?
I needed to get out, right?
Sure, right.
I came back to Miami for my graduate degree.
Good answer.
Of course, but when I left Dayton, my first job was actually in Hamilton. I started off in Bell Avenue at Southwestern Ohio Steel, and I stayed with SOS. They moved me up to Middletown for a few years, and then I transitioned to Matandy Steel and lived and worked in Hamilton for 5 years over at Matandy Steel before getting into education. And the next 10 years I spent over at Monroe High School, where I was an English teacher and I was also a varsity football coach.
Very good.
So
and speaking of football, I hear you got some exciting announcement about Talawanda's Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, it was a little bit unexpected. This year I was selected to go into their Athletic Hall of Fame. I played football at Talawanda and also a little bit of baseball. Played basketball very, very poorly, but it was still fun to be a part of that team.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's a nice honor.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
And you talk about, Talawanda, and we have to mention your father, Marvin Wilhelm. He's just a well-respected educator in the area.
Right. My dad was the principal of Talawanda High School for 23 years. And to me, that's just an incredibly high number of years to be anywhere.
Sure.
But let alone be a principal for 23 years. And then he retired from Talawanda City Schools, moved on to the parochial system. He was a principal at St. Pete's for a little while, and also Queen of Peace. So I think total he's probably over 40 years, 45 years within the field of education. I think it's probably a calling that I felt too, being in the same family. My sister was also a curriculum director at Norwood City Schools, and my brother is a teacher and was a coach at Ross local schools.
So it's in your blood.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's great to have your dad. You could call him up and say, "Help me."
He's on call 24/7. I got him on speed dial.
Oh, that's great. Well, as I said, everybody knows Marvin Wilhelm, and so I think you'll do quite well under his leadership.
I hope so. He was a great mentor and a good role model for me.
Right, very good. And I know your tagline, John, is that there's something for everybody at Hamilton High, Big Blue. So explain that.
Right. Joni, there's not another school in Southwest Ohio that offers the comprehensive program that we do. We talk about our Career Technical Center, where we offer our students pathways to specific careers, whether they want to get into an engineering or auto mechanics or cosmetology, even computer programming, coupled with our advanced placement programs, our dual credit, our college preparatory classes, which are very, very rigorous. In addition to our varsity sports and our fine arts programs, there's not one school in Southwest Ohio that has the kind of programs that we have, all housed on one campus. And so Hamilton should be very proud of what we have at Big Blue.
I know, talking to some of the top 20 seniors from the class of 2014, checking to see how many college credits they started college with. I mean, it's impressive. 64 hours, which is they're considered a sophomore. They're halfway done, and that's all through dual credit or AP classes at Hamilton High. You had one that had 50 hours, 31 and 25. So all that's pretty impressive. Has to help the parents because it eases the pocketbook a little bit.
Absolutely. When you look at having 60 credit hours, or 2 years ago we had a student who went to Duke, and he left Big Blue with 50 college credit hours. And you're talking about a cost savings of well over $50,000 to the parents. Our AP program is outstanding. The school district has invested within our staff, sending them to conferences and making sure that they're certified and able to teach these classes so that it will benefit our students taking these classes. The classes are smaller, so they get that one-on-one attention. And we're looking to expand our programs currently. We added another physics class this year, and hopefully in the future we look at adding a biology class as well. But our AP classes are outstanding.
And we mentioned dual credit, and that's where you actually are sitting in high school, but you get the college credit because we work with local colleges and universities here in the area.
Right, and so they're in high school, they're taking a high school credit or class. However, the teachers teaching those classes are also able to be accredited by a local university. And if our students choose to take that class, they can get college credit at the same time. It's an outstanding program.
Yeah, you can't beat it. And again, talking to a couple of the graduating seniors from last year, they said, you know, my freshman chemistry class is what we took in AP chemistry as my sophomore year in high school. So it really benefits them. Another one said, I'm doing my English is on a book that we did when I was a junior. So they really feel comfortable being in college now because a lot of it is what they've had in high school.
Right. And the rigor of our college prep classes and the rigor of our honors programs will prepare our students from Hamilton High School to be successful at the next level.
And you mentioned career tech education programs, and we did have Gene Heltzelman and two of our teachers on TV Hamilton School Matters as well, and they can get college credits as well. So it's a win-win for those programs as well.
Right. Our program with our career tech is set up through St. Clair Community College, and it's really a nice partnership with St. Clair. You know, they're part of our stakeholders,
right, and
they work with us to make sure that the programs that we are offering at Hamilton High fit into their career programs as well.
Yeah, perfect. Other things that are new at Hamilton High, I know we have about 8 or 9 new elective courses in fine arts and literature. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Great question. And so this year the state changed the rules on attendance and hours of completions that our students need in order to graduate and move on. And so as we were looking through our course offerings, we knew at the time that we needed to make sure that we were able to keep our students, especially senior students, engaged and at school for 7 periods a day. So we did add an art teacher, we added a social studies teacher, we added an English teacher, and we added a science teacher, who would all be capable of adding to our elective courses. And the response by our student body has been tremendous. All of our art courses are full, and we have overage. And it's a great creative outlet for our students who are taking, you know, maybe 6 very rigorous academic courses, but then they also need that creative outlet to create something artistic and be a part of something that stimulates their mind in a different way.
Something they're interested in.
Absolutely.
Like forensic science. Everyone's interested in that now.
We could have doubled the teachers of forensic science. We had so much enthusiasm to take that class. Over 250 students signed up to take that class. At this time, our capacity for that class is 125. So all 5 courses, or all 5 classes that we were offering were completely full. And you know, the students were very, very enthusiastic about that, as well as the new course offerings or the additional course offerings for social studies and for English as well.
Right. And it sure beats them just sitting in the study hall.
Right.
So they're doing a fun elective for them.
Right. And one of our main goals was to make sure that we brought our study hall numbers lower and got kids into the classroom setting for 6 or 7 periods a day for sure.
And then let's talk about, because you have some new teachers, some new staff members, so let's talk about that. I think you said you have about 30 new staff members?
Right, and it's a daunting task to bring in essentially what is about 25% of our teachers and get them ingrained to the Big Blue culture. But it's also a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for them because they have a position at Hamilton City Schools. It's a great opportunity for us because we get an influx of new ideas. And so when we get those young teachers or experienced teachers, it's always nice to bring them into the fold, see what they've been doing in the past.
Not only to share ideas.
Yeah, not only will they help our students out, but they're also a tremendous asset to our veteran teachers as well. But the work that we need to do through the state and through our resident educator program is tremendous. Our teachers come in and they get a great amount of professional development. And so one of the things that I talk to them about is, you're coming into a professional district here. We will support you and we're going to grow you as a professional educator. So it's been a good transition.
I know I talked to one new teacher and they said, I'm not sure where I am yet in the building. I said, well, you're just like the other 1,800 students. But again, it is a large campus, but at least for students, you know where your classes are. So it's sort of like what everybody says about Ohio State. It's a large campus, but you know where you're going, so you're not messing with the other 70–80% of the buildings. You go from point A to point B to point C, and so the largeness really minimizes just to find your classes. And I think the teachers, once they feel like where they're going, it all makes sense to them.
Right, and we also reached out. We set up a new teacher, what we call new teacher talks, and it's led by veteran teachers, and it's an opportunity for our new teachers to speak and work collaboratively with veteran teachers, ask them some of the ins and outs of getting through the day at Hamilton High School, and improving themselves as an instruction teacher.
Yeah, just having that conversation between each other is very rich, and a lot of times they don't get a chance to do that because they're so busy teaching the classes, doing professional development. So it is nice to sort of take a breath and say, I'm having a problem with this, or can you help me with this? So that's a nice richness they're able to offer.
And we've had 3 veteran teachers who have stepped up for us, Kim Vieira, Jennifer Courtney, and Justin Frost, who've done a nice job with that.
Very good. And then I know something else you did is sort of like a welcome wagon. Let's talk a little bit about that, what you did.
Well, this was Patty Gibbons' idea, and Patty's an assistant principal at Hamilton High School. And one of the things we wanted to welcome our teachers back and get them started off to a great year. So the entire administrative staff walked around the building in the morning of the first day of school. We had coffee, we had tea, we had sodas, we had water, and just wanted to make sure that the teachers knew how much we appreciated the work that they do at Big Blue and how forward we're looking toward this year. And it was very well received. They loved it. Teachers need
it's like hearing the ice cream
that
truck,
affirmation,
probably.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody likes to be considered and appreciated. And so we wanted to make sure as administrators that the teachers knew that we appreciated
now,
what they do.
Now, is this something you think you'll do a couple more times in the course of the year?
Well, we did it last week or 2 weeks ago. We took around some coffee and some cookies that we brought in as well. And it's the little things. This Friday, we're actually having a staff appreciation night at our football game versus Kings. So Kings is coming to Virgil Swarm Stadium.
Right.
We have 230 people signed up to attend. We're having tents. We're having a grill out, and going to have a nice evening watching Big Blue football, but also showing the staff, how much we care about them. And we've invited families too.
And it looks like good football weather. Last week was pretty hot.
Right.
This time is more manageable.
Low 70s, I think,
yes.
and clear. Knock on wood,
Yeah,
right?
very good. Yeah, very good. Also, you did something where, again, you talk, and I know you'll be tweeting Friday night, your trivia question. Talk about that you do on Twitter.
Yeah, this just kind of sprung up organically. I received a poster in the mail from a friend, and it was of Tim Rose, who was the longtime Miami football coach, and it said enthusiasm is contagious. And I tweeted that out, and I wanted to get that message out to people who follow me on Twitter, how important it is to be enthusiastic about your job, about what you're passionate at, or a sport that you play. And so I tweeted that out and said, hey, I'll buy lunch to the first person who can respond, name this local football coach. And I had a few people who guessed wrong, but Ryan McGuff was the first one to guess correctly. And so I said, all right, Ryan, you pick the date.
I bet his father helped you, but we'll go. That's another story. Did he, Mike? Okay,
did,
I
yes.
figured. Okay.
So Ryan won. And I said, Ryan, invite 4 of your friends. We're going to have pizza, Karen's Pizza, in my office. And we're just going to sit down and chat. And so that was really neat. And I got an opportunity not only to meet Ryan, but also the friends that he chose.
Right.
And we had a great conversation about where this group was as juniors. It allowed me to talk to them about where they want to see Big Blue and lend more democratic credence to what we're doing here. And then last week, Emily Roberts won. And this was kind of silly, but it was my favorite cheese, and it's also shared with Sharon Palachi, Manchego cheese. She guessed it right. And so I got lunch for her and her friends. And so again, we had a great opportunity to sit and talk.
But again, yeah, as you're meeting with 4 or 5 students, just a very casual. And I know both students and parents appreciate that. We talk about you tweeting, and I do tease you that you're the Twitter king, but you're at a lot of different events and activities, and I think people appreciate that. And then again, you tweet that out, but I think it's important for people to know you're pretty much everywhere. I mean, again, you drive by on the weekends or at night, you know, your car's still there. It's nothing to do a 12, 14-hour day for you. So I think people appreciate that it's important for you to see, but it's also important for you to be seen. And I think you do a nice job of that. Your whole staff does, I think.
Yeah, they do a great job. And the extracurricular activities and the evening those are the fun times.
Right.
And so,
because you see kids out of this classroom, more in their element, like you said, you get to see who their friends are and get to a more personal relationship with them.
Right, and this Saturday, our cross-country team will be at Miami University. It'll give me a chance to go and see my hometown and see my dad and get a chance to talk with him, but also to be on campus and see those kids in a different light. So that's fun.
Very good. And we talked about technology with Twitter and what have you. And I know right now we have about, I think you said about 300 Chromebooks that are on carts. So explain a little how that works.
So, our enrollment is going up, which is an awesome thing. And I tell this to the staff every chance I get. People are choosing Hamilton High School to send their children. And with all the choices they have right now, it's fantastic that our enrollment is steadily increasing. And so that's fantastic. But also it means that we have to open up some of our computer labs for classrooms.
Right.
Well, what we decided to do is take those computer labs out and put them on mobile carts. And so right now we have 9 mobile carts with 30 Chromebooks each, so a total of 270 that are available for teacher checkout on a daily basis.
Right.
So those teachers sign them up, take them to their classroom, and they use them in the classroom so they don't have to transport kids to a specific computer lab. Everything is contained in their classroom. And it's a fantastic opportunity for our kids to interact and use technology every single day.
Yeah, and well, as we know, technology seems to be the way that everything's going with the whole testing, what have you. We mentioned that you were an assistant principal last year, and when Mr. Lice left as principal, that left a hole there, and then we had another assistant principal retire, so we had 2 positions open for assistant principals. And so you mentioned Patty Gibbons. She and Jana Lewis are veteran assistant principals. They do a great job. But now you're able to hire Jesse Weisbrod and Matt Shermer on your team.
Right, and both of those were internal candidates. And so Jana Lewis and I conducted the first interviews. And the amazing thing was, and maybe this goes back to how well Hamilton City Schools grooms teachers, but our internal candidates were head and shoulders above our external candidates.
That's good to know.
And maybe because they knew the building a little bit better.
Right, that helps, doesn't it?
However, the professional development and the career choices they have made put them in position to take those opportunities when they came. And so Jesse and Matt have done a fantastic job of transitioning from teaching, and Jesse was a health teacher at Big Blue, and Matt was a social studies teacher at the Hamilton Freshman Building. But the transition has been incredible, and I told them earlier this week, they are further along at this point in their career than I ever was last year at this point in time. And so that's, I think, a tribute to them, to how hard they work and how much they prepared and how passionate they are about their position.
And I know, again, last night I stopped by at 5 o'clock and you guys were still meeting. So, you put in a quick 15, 16 hours yesterday. And again, we mentioned Hamilton High as being really the hub of the community, open up a lot, not only with our students, but outside organizations. But you're also having a breakfast in November. Talk about that.
Right, and this is an idea, and I'll be honest, I stole it from Princeton City Schools, and I attended a couple of their breakfasts with their community. And I said, this is a fantastic thing. If I'm ever in a position to do this, I'm going to do it. What we are interested in is bringing our specific stakeholders, shareholders, our business community into Hamilton High School. And it's very targeted because a lot of people don't know how great our building is, how great our students are, and how fantastic our staff really is. And that needs to change. And so when people think of Hamilton High School, I want them to know that we have an incredible student body. And I would take our top 10% of our students and put them up against the top 10% of any school in Southwest Ohio. And I would be, thrilled to see how the competition. Likewise, our staff is absolutely fabulous. And I want to make this very clear. We have great programs at Hamilton High School, but it's the people who are running those programs that do the work, that do the job, and make the connections with education and learning for our students. So our staff is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I thought I was a good teacher.
You're a proud father, aren't you?
Well, I thought I was a good teacher and did a nice job.
Right.
And I can honestly say this, you know, there are 20, 30, 40 teachers who are much, much better than I ever thought I could be at Hamilton High School. And that's not a slight to me, but it's really a tribute to our staff.
And so this breakfast then will allow business organizations to come in, and then will they sit with students, or how's that going to work? Are you going to pull students into the breakfast as well?
Right, we're going to pull about 20 students, and my hope is that we have about 100 community members who are able to attend. It's going to be very short. I know time is valuable.
Right.
So we'll start at 7:45, and we'll have a breakfast catered by one of our local businesses. It'll be sponsored by our group, who's our Adopt a School partner. And our group does a fantastic job of supporting our mission at Big Blue. And so our group is going to be our key sponsor for this event. We'll have a mixture, we'll have a continental breakfast, give a chance for people to talk with adults.
Right.
But then also we have a program set up and our theme is thankful for Hamilton, thankful for Big Blue. And we're going to tie in the Thanksgiving holiday with all the great things that happen at Hamilton High School. And I want our kids to sit and talk with adults from Hamilton and from Butler County. And I want the adults to see the kind of kids that we have in our hallways.
Right. Well, that's a great idea. And I think it's important, as you said, people drive by the school, but I think they've got to get in and they've got to see the kids, got to see the programs and the staff of what we're doing, you know. So we need to do that. Let's talk about some of your visions and goals for Hamilton High. You know, there's something for everybody. I know that's your tagline. But what do you personally see the vision or the goal for you as principal of Hamilton High School?
Well, that main thing.
Besides survival the first year, right?
You know, there's the academic goals naturally and the attendance goals and the state goals, so to speak. And those are all important as well. But I am focusing on our community engagement and spreading the word about the great things that happen at Hamilton High School, the great things that our students do, the great things that our staff do, and the opportunities that await students from Hamilton at Big Blue, because there really is something for everyone at Hamilton High School.
And I truly think that, you know, to me, the best testament of whether you had a good high school experience, if you're, as an alumni, come back to the sporting events, the fine arts events, because you want to be involved in your alma mater.
Right. And we invite our alumni back for anything and everything that we can think of, whether it's a concert, a recital, whether it's an athletic event. This Friday for the Kings game, I know our boosters is having an alumni reception from 5 until 7 o'clock. That'll be in the cafeteria. And we'll have booster sign-ups available. And also the Spirit Shop will be open, so come and get your Big Blue gear. They got a great variety of Nike gear and some really, really neat gear that you can sport proudly in Hamilton.
When I put a friendly tease out there, because I tweeted that out as well and said, which school will have the most alumni? Will it be Hamilton High? Will it be Garfield Griffins or Taft Tigers? So, and I put that on Facebook, and people were saying, oh, it's going to be this school, it's going to be that school. So again, I think when your alumni, your community come back to the high school, I think that says a lot how they feel about their own high school experience and how they feel about the current high school.
And it's neat for our kids to see alumni, and especially make a connection with Big Blue graduates, Taft graduates, Garfield graduates. Because when you think about it and you see it on paper, we have some outstanding alumni who've walked those halls. And we want to bring them back because Big Blue has changed a lot since it was Taft and really since it opened as one school in the early 80s. And so we get students in from the 90s who say, oh, this wasn't like this when I was here.
Well, we've done tours of Hamilton High for, either the old, Hamilton High or even Taft, and then Garfield has done tours too for class reunions, and they just want to see their old school and see how it's changed. I remember that was my locker, what have you, and it's really neat because I call it the current Hamilton High. The students that lived through the 10 years of construction and renovation at the high school, the class of 2002, 2004, they want to see, they lived through the renovation. They want to see the finished product, and they're quite overwhelmed and impressed by. And again, that's a nice shout out to our community because without them, none of these schools would be made possible. So it's just a nice. I think it's, as we say, it's Hamilton proud, and I think that covers it.
And we have tremendous community support, there's no doubt. And our facilities are outstanding.
Right.
I mean, there's not a school district around. And again, you get back to that, there's not a high school like Big Blue. There's not a school district around who has the type of facilities that we afford our students.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited to have you as the leader of
Yeah.
Hamilton High School. I know you'll do well, and I know there are great things to come for Hamilton High, and just keep smiling, right?
That's right, keep smiling, smiling away.
That's right. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Joni.
And for TV Hamilton, I'm Joni Kopis, and we'll see you next time because school matters.